malungil tutaw nguk tamlamet makad elal tutaw Nancy Nancy Wong obangelang kal tokubet sel okya karigit Jackson Henry al mertial program ra DOTAUT mang katomu el maldiw ay sar atal wasetial program ra DOTAUT Tekoi Ureor doing business in Palau tial programa mokte karingi mal di mesao ta Tekoi Ureor Momentangal terir tirgal tira adar belaul adar Ureor kakaro sa atu ortir maktimolingit Nancy di bokla iwitial el verse ra Bible emergong ito muula. So this comes from 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous and his ears are open to their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. Selbo the iwil tokor bela yang wase leruba ka mangkar raramalmalta oreng sanglunguir eng dingom to kartirgel merula makngit. Mahal masaula Dios. Oh, mang malungil tuta let's welcome you Jackson Henry. Tial show we know wasaka mal kwal adara politics hindi mal lolingit wase huktangar tial show please allow us to say Jack o hindi ang ngaranga tial show we understand they introduce you wase president ra Angaur state legislature you're a legislator of Angaur state and diki direct mal matingin wase you're a businessman luule kam lapl ols modi wase ul makmlora politics amral swaglo nga sigurabalu. So that's where we come in. Say so mamar ata bolot ang alkaur say hidil personal lo say kau kota ngara Tekoi Ureor ay kel kukawa am lamrura al sela balwa al malamolum. So you can introduce yourself first and then ekukal eskay kel lukswala anti Nancy. Etial show agidi call ourselves by the first name. Lakadang mal Dios isiro kuy na matala Dios es el message sa suata to sa tay kay kitel sengkara Dios el bilskit Tekoi Ureor.
Malungil. Ma'am Sauli Irene, Ma Nancy, it's good to be on your show. I'm a movie star now.
Yes.
Yeah, Ma'am Sauli, it's good to start off the show with us a verse from the Bible because Irene, a lot of people misunderstand that if you are in religion, you cannot practice business. But in essence, in order for you to do God's work on earth, you have to have something. If you have nothing to offer, how can you help the other brothers and sisters? So thank you for starting off with a verse in the Bible. Well, my name is Jackson Henry. I was born in Angaur in 1957. Man, that's a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
still look
lived there.
young.
Thank you.
Oh, that's very young.
Yeah, I was born in Angaur. I lived there with my grandmother because my mom moved to Yap when I was still very young because at the time, Nancy, that was during the boom days of the Trust Territory government.
Yes.
President Kennedy, who was a Democrat, gave a lot of money to Micronesia for education and for health.
Yes.
So in Yap, there was no skilled people. So they started recruiting Palauans. So a lot of Palauans migrated to Yap. And my mom was one of them. So she worked for a hotel and she of course sent money and food to Angaur and everything. So I never really saw my mom until I was 5 years old, I lived with my grandmother. Now, since we talk about business and politics, let me kind of give you how I became an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay. I was a young boy, and our house in Nancy was right by the beach. We're so lucky we got this house. Certama bon mereka makamat. Tial southern side of Angaur was all military camp. They had a convalescent home for the wounded soldiers. They had houses for the officers and for the regular soldier. So after the war, when they left, everything was intact. So what they did is they all got together and they had a lottery. Who's going to get one house? And my grandfather happened to pick this house that was just across from the beach, and it was a big house. And I remember I used to bike in that house, So early in the morning, I would go on the beach to pick up urada.
Ngaraw rada.
Balugan question. Omdu kura at tigan kare ngalag mo singata. What the hell is rad? Esel time Irene manansi I gele rhinoceros birul la tilamala. I gagi de le lius rang yaw.
Why see?
Hindi mo di ka lius. I got lius sa male partra diet tergida de mo itagalede. Mang sel mo di ka lius mga tutak para al all mruaw rada. Rada coconuts that have floated in from the afar.
Yes.
Ooy.
I see.
And that was my beginning of being an entrepreneur. Then, sekboguru, as kumaklamolay, tingarya footprint rasan, dak masingu, namo too late, namo diak, paadam na ramu. So, magranmak masarungal ka, sel swambal mo ruay, and girem lomgok, girem diklo mo. So that's one thing I learned about business. You have to start off early.
Sugugok.
Sugugok la. O ay kadat ko velal. Sugugok so amedings. Kind of the same thing Oo. Esek mo abra atabok lagi makun mo nga maas agalakal mas ay di mengi my reward ak muli ma osel asuma ya du bernya ak maradu ba. Di sel tel tel liga nga se odoy ma. Oy mabitang nga kalam inga bitak mo sa lagot tigil bitang mo sel neighbor mo kum sangel dalam al-maas nga say. Everybody will atatala rogoy. Aram asa ni dalat. Oo. Masit mo sangel maas and muskakalir too. So now I know masay. When you work hard and you do something, you get reward. That was the beginning. That was the beginning of my entrepreneurship.
Kala amle 5 years old there so we.
Yes, I did. And then Irene finally ako matri berklo so la madrak masem namor kom sen albuy kel merayap makore morayap bakim le kirayap pel monmong and then I came back to Palau and Moraskura Maristela for first grade and then the typhoon hit our classroom Miltamal so my mom says well pack your bags and come back you know namo yaka school tela makore Moraskura yap mara St. Mary it's a Catholic school makara school say one day ako rin sa Gardir Vela madala adu Gardir Vela was so happen amle Maidra one of these American expats mudalak pa soy kagi mo sigra adal kora mo yard boy lang mana mo makloy gal udara madala lang garbo ba makple volunteer mo say I'll take the job. Say how much a month? $10. I'll take the job.
Big money.
Big money those days.
Yes.
Back in the 60s, you know.
They're a teenager and you.
No, I was still about 9-year-old.
Okay,
elementary school. Anyway, ako kumisingit yang magtrolyar makmasi. The only way to do this, I have to pick up a partner. Makorebon matirgal bigrayap mal best friend na masi. You and me have a job. Maging clean. Tanga summertime, maging clean. I get paid ak split tawo dalam mga albuig. So again, you learn entrepreneurship by being a work ethic Ureor, but when you get some reward, be able to share a partner rakaw. Lesson lungi larang la partner rakaw, and support rasyo ba rakaw. So that's lesson number 2. Sige. Edi continual mo rasay vale. Finally, 1969, nakwamerte ngayon sila. Ekprasay vale, Olympic na 1969 was going on. Akpo I was so proud to be a Palauan. Lengan narayap, ekprasay vale, tiga other bela di win a gold medals. Ngarinya Sebal tama. Tony Toay, the sprinters. Mga gidele Kachusiskan, you know. Akmasi, wow, tiada beladi getting all the gold. I'm so happy to be here and being a Palauan, you know. Mangari, it gave me a certain esteem. I became proud who I was, and I never want to let anybody step on me because I was a Palauan. Mga kaamlo, para school Irene, as liga amili nga kam sub.
Wow.
At ti-memorize sa book, sa para school ak TA+. Sige na lahat mo tulog po, I don't want to be behind anyone.
I see.
Makmura sa ibale, so lang is my third entrepreneurship move. Akmo because I live in Yap, akpura tel village or magtala susupi. Akpura tel gas station, itigal po yung gas station, ibura Yap. Yeah, ultang akfanak mo say, why are you in Saipan living with this Chamorro guy? Masi, that Chamorro was born in Yap. Ignacio Aldan. He owned a gas station. He was born in Yap. So he spoke Yapese in his Chamorro. So I said, oh no, it's must say, we invite Ramam Mura school, Marinas High School, and then we work for him in exchange. We get a place to stay and get food.
Wow.
So I just hang around with them. Kasi walang masang, ako makpump gas. Oo. Ako mesti nga mau kumakmura taya. Oo. Eventually, one day, ang galbi raya pak malasi. His name is Tony. He said, Jax, I make a deal with you. I said, yeah, I want to make a deal with you. I'm working here, and I'm getting all this experience, and you fix a tire, they pay you $2, one for you and one for me. Oh, that's a done deal. Which is the only thing you have to do. You have to buy the patch glue. So I start fixing tire, Irene, and I was, piling up my money, So eventually I bought my 10-speed bicycles. I rode to school, and again I had this Palau thing in me. I don't want to be behind my friends. Ako makbaradyo, makumarabilik, nice clothes, shoes, and my grades were really good. But they put me to the fastest class, hapon junior high. And so happy na taram na siyang sirang kakagin dali ni Mitch Iyar. He was my teacher, Pasayval.
Wow.
So I learned, you work hard, you save your money, and then you can always buy the things you want. So the entrepreneurship start really building up. At my very young age. Then I can go on. I can go on to other Guam, but go ahead and ask some questions before I proceed. Ako ko naman excited.
5 months on
like
that
to
story.
hear.
Oo. Kamal continue til al work ethic kamal.
Okay.
It's a gift.
Why
Dakal
say?
beto kal mikarel ngal kal elementary school I think about wase halabay gura ay kal taya share tial mora.
Why
friend
say?
Start from
Really young age, And then so basically, Irene, Kapanansi, the question now is, are entrepreneur born or are they trained?
Good question.
I think it's like a chicken and egg question. But based on my experience in NC, I think to be an entrepreneur, you just have to be in that environment.
That's very
You
good.
have to be in the environment, and your family has to instill in you. So let me give another example, which I found out, being that my spouse is Filipina, so I go to Philippines a lot. I read a lot about Philippines. So I found out this work ethic of the Chinese in the Philippines. They call them Chinoys, Chinese Filipinos. Okay, so in the Philippines, normally a family would tell their children, son, go to school, get a good education, and go work for the government. That's the Filipino mindset. The Chinese goes, no, son, you go to school, get an education, come back and open a business.
I see.
So they teach their children at very young age to be entrepreneurs. So today, based on statistics, my understanding is the Chinese community in Philippines only amount to about 3 to 2% of the population. But they control 60% of the wealth. They own banks, they own Philippine Airline, they own telecoms, they own real estate, but they all start off with zero.
Power, maybe.
Nothing,
I see.
For example, Gongco Way, they own a Cebu Pacific Airline. Gongco Way, father died when he was a young boy, maybe 9-year-old or 8-year-old. So he was peddling peanuts on the street, and all the money he made, he gave to his mom to raise the family because their father died. But from selling that peanut on the street, he went on and on and on until he started selling tires and used clothes and used appliances until he became a billionaire.
I see.
So, again, when it comes to that question, born or trained, I say maybe trained is a better.
Yeah.
It's a better
Train.
term.
I mal agree Nancy.
Yes.
Train you have to learn. Like, for example, you can have your kids or grandkids start off in the kitchen. Feel the heat in the kitchen and sweat and and feel the pain and the struggle. Lagi build a character.
Man marang.
Oo, without the character, hindi mo tigil mo mga karaming laurel at say, I give up. I give up, you know.
Swaksel talal maasa, ang kaltala man maasa luwase, also ko mong suamel, mati kay gal, mapamorul ra, ikan
Rather.
kiri malungkok.
Why say?
Ay gay dia build the work ethic.
Why say? Yeah.
Kira dal sugukok.
Why say?
Kumangal ko, sorry. Kumangal ko orang setiang, you know.
Yeah,
It's
tirahan
such
man mo rin.
inspiring.
Why say?
Hindi ka din start pero o kakasim para
Why say?
makarwa
Why say?
ka mga.
Why say?
You have to start
From
somewhere,
scratch. Yeah, another lesson na talaga maasulo ay sa nage. Kasi bata makpong, two things can happen. Makpong at May was a bad luck. There was none. Kasi grandma, di nakapitiga imolura, sedungal ka. Lesson number 2. You cannot always get what you want. Be prepared for that. Ano ba mo nga natigra, aura dal me, open ringing na spoil again clear ng aura mamak masi Bruce leaves. It's a smell it's spoiled. Spoiled.
Yeah.
You cannot always get what you want.
Exactly. In business, you know. But you have to find a way around it. Makukuha madra masuruar ka sang dakal every time ng wilaya ka raw. But you keep going every day, your luck improws.
You can give up.
You can always go
I
around
see.
it.
So, okay, halugok to transfer back to Saipan.
Yes.
Makara Saibal, again, like I say, Segidil, Blugome sa Palau, special people.
Yes.
We are winners.
Nice.
Irene.
Competitive.
Competitive.
Why say?
Tinggal Ate Palau, mira, lima mara ang korang karamay ka. Adibul all karingiya skillity. Ang Kal Santos Eduardo, adibul mira lima mga architect.
Yeah.
Atara klubseya, kinga na lima me. Tiyan mila bulis sa di kulmel parmak. Wow, what is the police doing over here? Alto de, ang Kal bulis sa malungil agungele, malungil saan. Musing kanta nga. Hey, ngarkay may, ngarkay James Robert. He was a policeman. Makmusisi, other belaw ngartel sa ibala, di nga skillity. So you have to be proud of who you are. Masaygidia, guspel saygidia, mlo mrula bo siar buig ngara mos lila tigal buigra bilis ka man mos illegal they know I had skill. So I learned from them. I started to learn from tigal chamorro friends of mine. At Tartiram le drummer. Tela Eddie Fleming, a brother in Donald Fleming was a piano player. These are musicians in Saipan. They became my friends. So I would hang around with them when they practice and still learn the guitar and playing drums. And so one day, Lazarus Salit told me, hey, you have to go to school at Xavier. Wow, am I going to leave all my friends and all my bicycle and my job and fixing tires? Kasi hindi ako nagkira mo para Xavier. Maktimle hesitantly, emoang. Tikpura Xavier, so happen there was guitars at Xavier. So I start playing and then we start forming a band. I used to watch all the eyes, the CJ.
Yeah.
Oo, ma Dominic Sasao, to jam, makuktimol junior team. Playing drums. And then eventually, akmon mo ma-start my band at Xavier. So one day, then one day we were playing at the gymnasium with amplifier and it's loud sound. And then, engkal ada, mga rabasag turist telme, so magmasi, hey, I want to hire you to play for our hotel, Continental Hotel. Say, very good. You ask the principal. If he says yes, I'll play for you guys.
Was this in truck or?
In truck.
Xavier.
Xavier High
Nice
School.
hotel.
So we start playing band at Xavier. All the money we made, of course, went to the school. But it taught me another lesson. You need to. Whatever money you make, share.
Yes.
It's
more blessed to share.
Share the
More
profits.
blessed to give than to receive.
Exactly. Don't always pocket the money.
That was nice.
And then I came to Yap again for summer. And then I asked my mom, hey mom, I want to open a band in Yap. I says, Rungal, you're already going to college and now you ask me to get a loan. I says, I promise you before I go to college, I'll pay off that loan. So my mom hesitantly went and got a $2,500 loan from Bank of Hawaii. So happened, she got a quick loan. The loan was so fast in Enseling. My mom already knows the manager who was married to a Palau lady. Yeah.
Cycle connection in
Oo,
Nancy.
And they know that we're not going to default. You know?
Ate
So,
malmoret sa gigit. Kalbaas.
makore mun mutia loan me so murakwa me porakwa me dig nomre ka typhoon pamela. Everything was on sale, you know. Makpon marama ka fender arms magita matay go merayap and mil. Put the word out, must say we just will open a brand new band, and you know Yap is a small place. Everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
So during the grand opening, people came and flood the place. All the congressmen and the this that and everybody came there. So the first night we paid off more than half of the loan.
Wow.
So within 2 gigs, private parties, we paid off the loan.
Tumlepe at ticket tabol too for entrance fee.
Yes, that's how we got the money to pay all the expenses. And then, so that's another lesson.
Music is a business. Ito ka Ureor.
Exactly. So that's another lesson of being an entrepreneur. You have to take risk.
Yes,
Take
yes,
risk.
yes.
You gotta take risk. And when you take risk, take calculated risk.
Yes.
Don't just jump. You have
Think,
to do your homework.
pray.
Numbers, are the
Do your
numbers going to
homework.
pan out or no? And if you think that the probability is great, then you're lost, then take it.
Amen.
I see.
I see.
How's our timing? Hindi mo na timing.
Oo, maldir ko ngil. Ela ka da.
Interesting, no?
Oo, ela ka da malumol, mal focus ra ka.
Yes,
Sa
oo.
tiyaw ngil maka-continue share. Esel guk the take up break about the mere gida
Sure.
guk mura business ra ka.
Yes, exactly.
Expertise ra ka.
Yes, okay. So continue.
Oh,
yeah.
please.
So anyway, we paid off our loan, and then we were able to even start paying some of our band members.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, so that's another thing. It's taking the risk and calculated risk. You know, so my mom was very happy because we paid her off. Then I went to college, came back.
Kaya kam ra college ra Spokane, Washington.
Yes.
Sengarang Clela
Gonzaga
Gonzaga.
University.
What's interesting in Nancy ngal akulu ay sira cha kalulu sira kigo kum kaswe sir bela akwase eng el spadakal he helped me with some real estate appraisal. Makume sir tiya se ay gal babringel se Jack you went to Gonzaga University nga katel dir kum lemu from Regal May el poster nga for 4.5 years is a graduate his entire family from Gonzaga University. The mal devoted Catholic family.
Yeah.
They're Irish Americans. Edit se malungil school tirka lultaw dartil titok tang mar lawyers back patingela. They're very strong Gonzaga University.
Right.
Roach family.
Right.
Magiwaram le connect in that sense like man batang Liesel school.
O nga ka, madbilagi le, you know, I didn't come from a rich family, you know, let's face the fact. Di imlem do ano nga school again sel I think not mo say I hate to be behind somebody.
I see.
Maybe it was a inferiority complex. I don't know what it
Kaya
was.
kung tuon rin.
But I just don't want to be behind somebody. Basit nga as
Wish I had
Xavier.
that.
Agi nga Xavier.
Oo.
Xavier, there's like 300 kids who apply, but only 35 are accepted.
Oh,
wow.
So we're talking about creme de la creme of Micronesia. The boys from the Marshall, Ponape, Chuk, Palau were the top of their class.
The leaders are LL.
I say so. When I went there, I had to really study hard at Triarwa Smart. You know, and I had to be behind a Marshallese. I had to be behind a Ponape. So I studied really hard, and then so by the time I was a senior, my grade was I was a student, you know. So we were there in NC. It was so incredible, eh? I really don't have the money, eh? But anyway, I got accepted to a few small community college, my imol school in Mexico. And finally, on the last month, the priest says, boys, all you seniors, there's a meeting with a man named Richard. He's from Gonzaga University. He wants to talk to you, all of you. So, oh wow. So he talked to us and say, Oh, my name is Richard Murphy. I'm the financial aid officer of Gonzaga University, and I came to give you the good news. I say, we found out that there's a Jesuit school in Micronesia, and then we just got a big bequest of money from a man named Bing Crosby, who was a movie star.
Oh,
And when he passed away, he put a lot of money into Gonzaga.
endowment
Endowment.
Gonzaga University.
Right, and the scholarship is to help minority and kids.
Maral masawla
Oh.
Dios, Sam Logiren.
Exactly, mga gidale, reach up mo say, all of you Xavier students, seniors, if your GPA is 3.5 or above, you're gonna get a full scholarship.
Oh.
Maral
So wow, so we applied. We applied. There was like 5 or 6 of us who were that level. So we all got scholarship. So for 4 years, I didn't have to put a penny. If anything, akpay, selbo register, agibong it mo say, okay, oh Jackson Henry, your tuition and room and board is paid, and by the way, you get $500 for books and and stipends. So I was getting money from the scholarship. So akman lagi. So I got we were the first students to graduate from Palau.
Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Dalaman maasan dir Gilear sel time.
Yes, he was still alive.
Akmal dire kal mlongi larang jak lang al tangat.
Why say? And
Ito ko rang usay gid dire kal kakukti last till sentence at the break.
Sure.
Lang malungil kadam lang wa school mo ra Gonzaga University.
Yeah, and then from there I moved to Seattle, and then I got a job working for a building distributor, which has taught me a lot about real estate. And construction and reading blueprints. Yes. We were distributing building materials
Not yet.
all over the Northwest, including Idaho, Northern California, and Alaska. And then after one day I was reading the handbook. It says, if you go to school that would help improve your work, we'll give you full tuition payment.
Maral ngal tangat.
O makpare mo tura Andy, he was Andy Anderson, he was our accountant. So is he still applying? So of course it applies. Makpare mo enrolled to a master's program, and the whole school paid everything. I mean, not school, by employer paid everything.
Jack,
So I wound up
that's
getting
truly a blessing.
MBA with not out of pocket, you know.
Maral ngal
So
tangat.
was
Hindi ako
really
nito
lucky.
kultur kita ko natin mo break.
Sure.
Oo.
So, Mr. Henry, you have led such an interesting. You graduated with your master's degree in Gonzaga University, and then you learned by joining this company that you would distribute housing. So you got to know the value of real estate.
Yes, why say? Yes.
So take us from there as you
Uh-oh.
move from
Sure.
Washington. Is that Port
Washington
Washington
State.
I spoken
why
Washington.
back to Guam,
why
and
say?
you can take us from there.
Why say?
It's so interesting.
Right.
Maral
Yeah.
ngal interesting.
Yeah.
So akara Seattle, Washington. I moved from Spokane to Seattle. It's a big city, you know, it's an exciting big city, you know. So I really enjoyed living there. Anyway, so I got this job working for a company called the Hugh McNiven Company, and we were one of the biggest building material distributor. We sold insulation, siding, roofing, you name it, you know.
Oh, wow.
And then they promoted me to be in the new construction area, where we work with developers. These are people who build truck housing and apartments, and so big companies, you know, esteemed and very smart people, you know. So I work with them, and then I would sit down and read blueprints. So I had to, ako lang doon mula, mga blueprint.
Lamlet na lang naging
Oo.
Marcel time.
I was like in 22.
Oo, early
Yeah,
20s.
the mind
early
is
20s.
Mind is
excited.
open.
Oo.
And then we calculate, make bids, you know.
Wow.
So I really learned a lot, and I even go to the job site.
Of course, yeah.
When we see all these houses they're building, and beautiful houses,
Yeah, the terrace, how you're gonna build
terraces,
that.
yeah.
Two
And then
story,
even
three
the end
story.
product,
Oo.
so tur alsela blayang mal first
Beautiful,
class.
yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. Maguro resel mamrege. Finally, 1985, I decided to take a vacation to come to Palau and see my grandmother. By the time
see.
Simlamo, almost 100 targil.
Oh my.
So murungyar makmesa my grandma, and then I came to, and then I work in Ureor with the Compactor Free Association. Len, here's
I
what happened.
remember that.
Yeah. Aknara arurang restaurant de Lowlands abenasa po mamik mas ngaringia kamitil ragagi dele media you've been appointed mak. Oh, really? Yeah, and here's your salary. So you sign this so we can put you on the payroll. So I got a job like that. So anyway, I did that, and then of course the compact didn't pass.
Yeah.
So I realized, oh, this
It
is
took many times.
yeah. So I flew to Guam. I flew to Guam, and then went to Saipan to see my brother who lives in Saipan and his family. And then before I left, I gave my resume to my cousin, KD Sali and Juanita Merrill. They work for Bank of Guam. And they took my resume, they gave it to the president of the bank. So I'm in Saipan, they called me, hey, you better come back to Guam, we got a job for you. So I wound up working at Bank of Guam. You know, I was a commercial loan officer. I gave loans to businesses.
Another opportunity to learn.
Right. So
Another skill.
another skill. You have to learn how to read financial statements, income statement, and figure out the profitability of the company and the reason why the income changes from year to year. So you have to know a lot about finance, and that's already my field in college. So
Yes.
it was easy for
Beautiful,
me.
yeah.
But here's the thing, Eminence. Tara program di release an SBA guaranteed loan
Yes, loans,
program.
yes.
Say Irina help startups.
Yes.
Le startup pa hotel makita gagi dele statistics le. For every 10 company, the first year 9 would collapse and only 1 survive. Say statistics. So what they do is in order to help pagagi dele the small business, mabangkas give money, they give a 90% guarantee. So that became my specialty. Because tigal bibira loan officers rabang, there was 3 of us. Tigal terunga didn't want to touch SBA. It's a very complicated process.
Yeah.
You have to do projections, and you have to. It's a nightmare of paperwork.
Yes.
So they all gave it to me, and I didn't mind. You know, I said, hey, this is I like to see a small business startup.
I see.
So it became my area of specialty. So I was doing
No
that.
wonder Guam was so prosperous.
Development
and
dream.
development.
Yeah, because of the program is there.
Startups
Yeah,
ang malimport.
SBA,
So
yeah, okay, continue.
So I gave a lot of helps to start up a trucking company. One company was specialized in making chamorro sausage. One starting off doing pineapple plantations. I mean, there was a lot of stuff I financed. And then finally, I was working, and then I got pirated by another bank.
A bigger bank?
Bigger bank. First, the one bank called me up for lunch, you know. And they said, hey, how long have you been at Bank of Guam? I said, I've been there for 5 years. He goes, how much you're making? Oh, here's my salary. He goes, man, we'll double your salary. So I jumped. I jumped to First Hawaiian Bank. So I was First Hawaiian Bank for about, I was there for 1 year, a little bit over 1 year. And then I met this guy named Ben Perez. I think some knows him. He's insurance agent, and he was my client. So, but he's a very good client. He would come to me, go say, Jax, give me a $10,000 demand note. Demand note, you use your every loan officer have a lending power.
I see.
10,000 is my limit. Above 10,000, have to go to the committee.
Yes.
So he comes to me and goes, use your power and grant me a 10,000 loan for 60 days.
Why like that?
So I would do that. You help him, eh?
Yeah.
He always pay me back.
Yeah.
So one day he goes, Ben, how do you do this? I say, well, I'm insurance agent. So when I sell a policy, I get the money from you and I use it and I wait for my commission later. So he goes, Jax, every time I come and see you, you have that entrepreneur drive in you. I said, I can see it in you. So, oh, really, Ben? He goes, yeah, so I make an offer for you. Why don't you come and work in my office? I'll give you a free desk, free telephone, everything is free. And then do your magic. Maybe you can do something. So, okay, Ben, yeah. But I'm looking at my salary and this comfort.
First
it was hard for me to. It was really hard for me to jump, So finally, about maybe after a year, he came back to me again. Hey, Jax, you're still here? I said, yeah. He says, okay, Ben, I make a deal with you. I'll make a decision within 30 days. So 30 days he came back. Was, are you ready? He goes, yeah, I guess I'm ready. So I finally resigned and I walked right into his office. So he became like my mentor, Yeah. And then
was the insurance his own?
He owned the insurance agency.
Insurance company driving a
Yeah.
business.
Right. So he even helped me get an insurance license. I passed the test and I became an agent just in case they were clients. My first week, amal boring lang. Akmarabangeng, it's like line of people want to see me. Ang tell obvious Ben, aktong ok, lemong iwa PDN. By 10 o'clock, I'm already sleepy. No clients, no clients. But I already had my business card. So, Makore passed my card around. And then one day, this guy named Ed Crisostomo, who works for PDN News, said, hey, a guy named Manuel needs you to package his loan. Because I was specialized in packaging loans and SBA. That became the business I got into.
Akira ko ra sense lo sel desire ka help ra at. Yang akora ondas lo sing atyo sa all durok like ay gidel ko ra to tingela insurance te alol kuksu biya insurance part tama. Lani nga desire ka help ra at.
I really saw I'll start up a small business. I became my specialty.
She then survived.
I see.
Mangagidel Manuel also works at PDN as a photographer. But helper me, because this guy been every bank and they turned him down. He came to me and I packaged his loan and I got it approved at Citibank. $125,000. The proceed was to pay his son who was in medical school. And then some of it is to renovate his apartments. Anyway, everything went fine. So he was so happy. He goes, Jax, my wife is just over the moon, We've been turned down from every bank. Can you help us? I said, oh, so what? Big deal. You already pay my fees. I'm happy. He goes, no. I'm going to send Cheryl, she's a staff writer at PDN, to write a story about your business. I said, sure. So, Nancy, I put on my attire, because I used to be a band member. So I kind of knew you got to put a little bit of show. I put on my necktie and comb my hair.
And look handsome and
really
serious.
Nice, and stood next to all my degrees on the wall. And she took my picture and put it in the PDN, in the business section. I said, Jackson Henry offers financial opportunities for all startups. And man, that phone started ringing and ringing. So I couldn't handle it. I said, okay, yes, can I get your name and phone number? I'll call you right back. There's a line outside, So I started taking all these notes. And then after about a week, I had a list of like more than 100 people. So I started looking and there was this guy named Mr. Inoue. This guy is looking for me to package his loan, and he's looking for a large loan. So I said, I put my focus on this guy because this guy is good, So I helped him put a package for him, And then the next question, he goes, Jax, I need you now to find a bank for me. I need about $55 million because I have to finish my hotel. Sile, that was the Holiday Inn Hotel in
Yes.
Guam. They were only halfway and they got stuck. They got stuck. Then economy at Shabala took a dive.
Yes.
So he said, please find me a loan to finish my
Mo finish ra construction.
Wow, 55.
55 mil.
Not bad.
Yeah, so I said, Mr. Inoue, we
Wow.
cannot find this money in Guam because banks here are very limited.
Yeah.
So, but I have to go outside the country. He goes, go ahead. It so happened I met somebody who knows somebody in Switzerland. I have this package for 55 million. Okay, so we did what you call a synopsis. The synopsis is who's the borrower, how much,
Snapshot
and what's the equity, projected revenue for 3 years, and collateral. And then you send it to them and they'll punch in a number. If you qualify, they'll call you. So if that time there's no internet, Irene, you fax it to Switzerland.
Yes.
Then they send us a fax. They says, we'd like to talk to you face to face. So Mr. Inoue paid my way along with his assistant named Frank. So we flew to Switzerland. This is 1992.
Wow.
Not too long ago.
Not too long ago, 1992. Yeah, so I was like, how old I was? In my early 30s, 30 years old. Anyway, so we flew to Switzerland to package this loan. And we got it approved. We got it approved.
Wow.
The only thing is they need to put in equity of 10%. So eventually they tried to find the equity and then they wound up having it sold out. They just sold it out instead.
Oh.
Anyway, that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
But it proved that
It can be
it can be done. I have connections, and it was so nice to go to Switzerland. So after we got our job done, I must say, Frank, we're gonna take a train to Paris. He goes, why Paris? He goes, you haven't been to Paris. We gotta go to Paris. So we used our own money and we went to Paris. Pag-imili na Paris, Malaysia, and moved to Guam. And then so I start putting more packages together, helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then one of my customer, this is how I jumped from packaging loan to real estate. I was packaging loans for a lot of people, and one of them was one client that I helped build their house. It's a beautiful house. So eventually they decide to sell the house, and then the lady came to me and goes, we sold our house, but now I want to buy land. I said, ooh. But one thing I learned in business is when somebody asks you for a service, don't say no.
Yeah.
Just let me look into it.
Okay.
Let me find out.
Let me find out. I'm sure there's a solution. But so happened that morning I got a map from a Korean lady named Unwan Gale. She had a piece of land. So I showed the lady the map. She goes, yeah, I'll take a look at the property. So we took a look at the property, and on our way back, she goes, I'll buy it. He goes, oh, okay. And so we went to my office, and she goes, I'm so busy, I have no time. I'm going to give you the cash now, and then talk to your seller. We'll sign tomorrow at the escrow company. So she gave me this cash, and she left. Because she trusts me, because she was my previous client. She trusts me. Correct. So when she left, I called up my Korean lady, and she came to my office, and she said, oh, Jax, you do work very fast. So here's my money, and there's 20,000 for you.
Oh my.
That's your commission. And so the next day we closed the deal, but before she left, I'm looking at this money on my table. I'm going, hey, I'm in the wrong business.
Yes.
I'm in the wrong business. I better get into real estate.
Packaging loan.
Yeah. So I went and got myself a license in Guam. And while I was doing real estate, in between time, I was studying to be an appraiser. You know why, Nance? Because my client would ask me, Jax, I want you to sell my land or my house, but I don't know what the market is. So I was forced to do appraisal to show them that this is the market value, so that when you're selling your house, you're not selling it below market or above the market. So that became, and then eventually I got licensed and all that.
Yeah, ula kume sa ikal beto licenses sa real estate. Di kamal masaul dire kal share sell it to ra investment. lagi tam am dengan wase ngkal ruba ka ul mang madu lo si ka investment ngka lulul to ringil mo approve na 55 million ra Switzerland.
Switzerland. Zurich.
That's half our annual budget.
Correct.
Sira balur
correct, yeah.
belaw.
And that was the
A
city
trust
of,
is a huge part of business.
It is.
Ato ko raw rayo.
Yeah, sale blue ang kala Zurich.
Yeah,
It's the financial and insurance center abrulat.
Why
Yeah.
Diyan
say?
digital.
Yeah,
So
Zurich,
I was very inspiring to go and talk to those bankers there. It was really
Malungil experience.
Yeah,
you
oh,
know.
you knew what you were
Yeah,
talking about.
exactly.
So.
Right.
Lesera MBA kam la financial.
Finance and economics.
Hindi
Yeah.
kan mal
I
close to
see.
talir. Kadabra lo spare sera to ko raw rayo repela
Oh,
el
exactly.
time.
At this point in time.
Maral
Right.
close to
Seriously.
talir.
Exactly.
So ko ano.
So the next question goes, so how did you come to Palau? Well, here's my brother Allen, Allen Sid. He came to Guam and he was running for office. I think he was running for either vice or president, I forgot. Masay Jax, I need you to come to Palau to open my bank because we're opening a bank in Palau. I says, man, I cannot leave. I'm just so busy. I got clients, and he goes, I just need you to come for 1 year.
Oh,
We'll get you a house and a car, and you open our bank, and then after 1 year, you can come back to Guam.
yeah.
So that's why I came to Palau. So Alan gets the credit for getting me home.
At so mong what's el ang labi kan man mong ilaro.
I say. So anyway, so I came to Palau. We opened the Sunra International Bank, which was located at Palacio Hotel.
Yes, I remember that one.
I ran the bank, and we did a really good program with the Pacific Saving Bank. So we gave them this wholesale money for them to retail it out. It's like a wholesale and retail banking relationship. So we gave them a lot of capital to use. Anyway, then from 2000 year to 2005, after 5 years, the IMF came to Palau and wanted to change the landscape of banking because there was no banking commission, and they were afraid you can get a bank license for $50 and you can get a post office box and get a banking license, which is really dangerous because it creates money laundering.
I see.
So a lot of they were suspected that some Russians were laundering their money in Palau. So they shut all these banks. We were a victim of that bank, of that law. So anyway, we shut our bank down, and I said, well, I'm already in Palau now for 5 years. I'm not going to leave this country.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick around. So, but a few years before that, the president of the National Development Bank of Palau came to me and says, Jax, we need you to start appraising property for the bank. Then we got cited.
Sangla otoy chipa sa time.
Diakamle imol atra Fiji. Tukana. He said you need to start appraising because auditors came and they cited the bank for lending money with collateral that we don't know the value.
I see.
So they say, how can you lend without knowing the value?
Raut.
So I started doing that, and that became the basis for be getting into full-time doing appraisal.
Summit Realty. Tiang ulumo rakwa, mangulumo rabelaw.
Why say, multiple question. Summit Realty is actually Ulmura, Guam. Yeah, and we were the company that brokered the purchase of the Palau land in Guam.
I see.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we were the ones who did that. Akmal sangat at the former President Tamir mga sama lawyer ringi. I forgot the lawyer's name.
Larry Goddard?
Hindi ako
By any chance?
buta taraan. Oo, hindi tirigang agwa si gimla approve la al marasel ut. Mang tikita check mutial check mo arar. Makore mo obisa president marara check akpong and then they wrote a check under my name. I must say, man, you trust me with this kind of money. Anyway, so I went and bought the land for the Republic, So
They had to do
that
it
was
here under your
that was
name.
kind of nice. So
Aterbelaw Kira Guam.
right. So we used that same name, Summit Realty, from Guam to Palau, and then that's where we still use the name.
Ay so mangla motel rak kel Summit Realty lubo rak.
We started off, it started in Guam back in the late 90s,
Yeah.
95, 96, And then I got Sarakot Tel Merbelao. I just got a license because I wanted to test the market. So year 2001, I got the license. I got the license. And then, of course, and then I'm doing now property leasing,
I see.
property sales, and then valuation of property, both commercial,
And residential.
and vacant land.
Malungi.
Yeah.
Mga nakurangil te alal ko kiri startups. Mar other belaw. Ang ula ko kaya maral extensive experience sa kao.
Yes, yes.
Ya ko maral sa Dios sa miska ay kita ro ko grabe patingil og longi. Mga ko kal nga rin other belaw mi kaya other lo mesar kao. Mesa Nancy mase sorry mo other show buying la wangrang arolela alo si ka capital. Ya kal nga ula ko kaya ka understand ra ko situation ra bang kita
I see.
National Development Bank is not very
I say, to start any business, you need actually 4 items. The most important things. If Tigale entrepreneurs can, first you have to have an idea. That's the most important thing. And number 2, you have to have capital. Number 3, you have to
Capital
have
be money.
money.
I see.
And number 3, you have to have the managerial capability. And number 4, you have to have a market. Because you may have a great idea, but if there's no market, you're going to flop. So you have to have a market, So again, it goes back to the idea, the concept of entrepreneurs and capitalists. A capitalist has money. Already has money. So a capitalist gets into business and expands his business because he has the capital to risk. Entrepreneur may not have the money, but he has the idea.
The idea and the willingness to risk,
Correct.
to take a risk.
I say so. The most important thing is the idea. If you have an idea, that idea is worth more than money itself, because it's the basis of your business.
Amen to that.
How you see your
I say.
business.
Ngare imol buigel. I sanak masay. Like I was telling her about this idea of the concept of being an entrepreneur with the idea. So lang akpal ang gawa sak masay ole Jackson. Tila idea mal ko mararingi. Le malgerel buig so lang moray iglesia. Aka matama rubak. So lang tigal tewal teder rubak. I won't mention the name.
Yeah, it's okay.
Tigal rubak member SDA Church, SDA malo marang asyo But tanga si adadu ultede ngaltaro baka complain masay mana mo expensive trigal accountants mal mal expensive al mesa muksirgit ngaltaro baka oklik masirubak giremel hara ko tulungil ad wala masay ka le sell ideal baskaw seko tiljakal moar.
I see.
Masay
Priceless.
Priceless. A good idea is priceless.
I see.
To get other warehouse to get into business, the most important thing is come up with a good idea.
I see.
If you want to compete with existing business, you have to come up with a way to improve that business. You've been successful in this because you're providing a product that is better than all the other products that we've known before.
Yes.
And you offer variety, so the customer has choice,
Yeah.
And that's one of the most important basis for opening a business. How's our time?
Well, kita tial ram ara ha endra so tial sorgit. Ndiang memlutul ra recap pa
Sure.
kita gukuro loro la
Yes.
summit realty.
Sure.
Ndiang dil appraisal. Pati ra kan laning aktara ay ket tablor am dilum alumang betok. O leasing. Mpom mo ay sa yigit. Edire kal mpom mol musum alwasan marang aswama kukal losis akal morar atalo mesra totang.
Okay. So are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now what's my business all about? Being an appraiser, okay? An appraiser is a certified person who has gone through professional training to give an opinion of value. Okay, so no matter how good my work is, it's still an opinion, but it's what you call a qualified opinion because you've been trained,
Certified.
right? So when you appraise property, there's three types of property. The first one is vacant land. Oo. Number two, developed land. Developed is any land that has either a building on it or some kind of business on it. Oo. And then, or is it industrial area? Okay, good. And then, when it comes to evaluation, there's three ways also you evaluate property. The first one is what you call a comparable approach. As kung Irene at least retail building, retail lang $1 per square foot, sigil ilang agirem los peringil basis raw tsika igil neighbors.
I see.
Look more comparable. Alo ba natural at tamem, let's say $100 per square meter, still surrounding your sale area, namo girel YC value rin. Look more comparable.
I see.
Another approach, the number two approach, is what you call a cost approach. How much did Irene
Purchase
the property? No, how much did Irene build this building?
Oh, okay.
How much money did you pay the contractor to build the building?
I see.
It's a cost tergaw, sige the basis of also evaluating other property. Sinara a prevailing cost per square foot. So let's say now in Arbelawa, average cost of building a residential unit is between 80, it depends on the quality of the material.
I see.
Between 80 up to 100, even 110. You got a range. So that's why you have to look at the blueprints and determine it. The third approach, which is Subira Business Nancy, is income approach.
I see.
Whatever money you make in the business, your net profit, you can change that net profit into a wholesome value.
Yeah, so the valuation of the business as a whole?
As income.
As
So
income.
ringi. So some
good.
building, for example, let's say your building is so many years old, however, it's generating X number of dollars. Say give X number of dollars as either convert ringil mo wholesome value, mo value retail building. So those are the three basis of appraising. So to be an appraiser, you have to know those figures. You have to know how to read the financial statements and then use the income to be converted into value. So basically, most of my work right now in DBP falls under all three.
Oh, I see.
All three. Either lenglar ang other lola ba at tamir di utamo. Collateral loan tir, mga riyan mo baraw do del moktora blirir, mga riyan mo baraw do del mo moktora shobarti.
I see.
So you have to have all three.
Or existing business you want to improve,
Yes.
or add on. Yeah.
Refinance,
They come to you.
Correct.
And, yeah.
Oo, ay maraming masaw
Oo,
na group na bang kamam
Well,
na
say,
tao Mr.
okay,
Jackson
sure,
Henry.
sure.
Ya kan dia invite rin group mo ng lutal me.
You have
Why
to
say-
because it's still kind
Kamal
of
ka interesting
Why
na
say-
dir ka kanya to ko
Yes, and I still I have a lot to share. so-
Yes. It has to be
Thank
part
you.
2.
Thank you.
Thank you
There's
very
a
much.
ongoing thing.
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Oo.